Why do you think in the case of, because I agree with you, and I think with Donald Trump, the choice was made, especially with today's technology and the internet, the flow of information, they probably couldn't get away with a straight up assassination. So the other option is let's completely demonize him for 4 years. Let's make him look like a racist, all these things. It's like, let's use all the powers that we have in all these institutions, like the mainstream media that we've overtaken, to demonize this man so that we can at least have the public on our side enough that when we an election, that everybody will just kind of go along with it, even the people that voted for Trump. And we'll use January 6th as the Reichstag fire, all that. Whereas JFK, I think back then, without the, there was like the one video, maybe two videos, there just wasn't enough there, so they could actually get away with assassinating the president, lying about it. And I mean, the official story actually that they tried to play on the American public was the bullet entered his head and then turned around and came out the other side of his skull, like made a U-turn in the guy's brain, right?
Yeah.
And they got away with that story.
Because we all know that they have bullets that they control with this little remote that changes its course as it's in the air.
Especially back in the 60s when they could get great technology on bullet control then.
But this is the thing, like they're still doing assassinations today. I met him once at a conference, and he was a former NSA guy. And he came out and he was talking about the corruption of the Obama administration, deleting information about the San Bernardino Islamic terrorist shooters that happened several years ago, and he exposed the fact that the Obama administration wanted him to delete everything. So he saved all the files, and then they literally went into his computer and just deleted everything, wiped everything clean, all that kind of stuff. I saw him at a conference that I was speaking at as well, and had a conversation with him. And one of the things that he said at that conference in October of 19, he said, the intelligence agencies and our government wants me dead. He's like, I'm telling you right now, I'm not suicidal. I do not want to kill myself. I'm completely happy, and I love the Lord, and nothing's going to happen to me. If something happens to me and they say it's suicide, I promise you it was not. 4 months later, he committed suicide. Yeah. And they found him along the side of a road with a bullet in his head, and it's completely unsolved. People talked about it for about 2 days. I said, we're going to investigate this. We're going to find out who did this, because eventually it came out that there's no way that it was actually a suicide. And it turns out everybody said, we're going to do an investigation. Nothing ever came of it. It's still completely unsolved. There's no possible way that this was just a random act. This was something that was specific, that was targeted, and that we saw the media narrative come out immediately and say that this was an apparent suicide. And so we see this happening time and time again. We've got to understand the reality of this shadow government, and how if you cross them, you get in their crosshairs. And so the best way that we can confront them is with numbers. It's with the masses understanding what is actually going on, how evil they are, and how much they actually hate the very freedom and liberty that our founding fathers established this country on.